my fatherland. God bless Akwa, Ibom, and every woman. We are beautiful people. The sun is rising, the land is peaceful. It's so amazing that I can see. I want you to fly, yeah. Say, I am the future, yeah. I'm not ashamed. I am the winner, the champion. Everybody knows. I am the warrior, fearless. I am the greatest, the strongest, the finest.
The desire of every society is to have a leader who will be passionate about touching their lives and bathing their faces with the sunshine of smile through actions and activities that improve their lots. Evidently, such prayer has been answered in succession in Akwa Ibom State, with the people enjoying stretches of administrations with human face policies and programs. On his part, Governor Umo Eno, in just 2 months, has committed every ounce of his energy to hoisting Akwa Ibom State on the totem pole of development, where the people happily wave flags of wealth and welfare. Thus, the assertion that the primary responsibility of government is to ensure the welfare of the people has found passionately going extra miles to bring welfare to the doorsteps of the people, pouring oil on the troubled waters of economic hardship across the country.
I want them to enjoy governance. And sometimes, we are too far away from them that they can't even see you. Today I feel emotionally connected with them.
In keeping with his promise to the organized labor who were on a protest as directed by the National Executive Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Governor Umo Eno, within 5 days of the 10 days he promised, has already inaugurated an 18-member committee to oversee the distribution of palliatives to cushion the effects of the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal on the people of the state. The Palliatives Committee, which is headed by the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Eno, has the State Chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Comrade Sonny James, and others drawn from government, organized labor, and civil society organizations as members. Governor Umo Eno charged the committee to target the poor and vulnerable ones in distributing the palliatives and to effectively discharge their responsibilities while recommending to the state government further steps to complement the effort of the federal government.
What we are doing now is just, for me, a cushioning measure, temporary measure. It can't be on a permanent basis because the real funds that should come is really from the federal government. We have, like I said again, we've received a few things, but I think we believe that if states are given their money, we'll put it to the committee, tell us what we want to do. If we have an idea, we throw it in. This is what we think. Then everybody can agree and, So until we have that money, it will be difficult to do a long-lasting recommendation. But let's cushion the effect. Let's see what we can put in place as quickly as we can to help our vulnerable people.
This gesture, the governor had hinted when he addressed the protesting labor about a week ago, except that he is acting faster than he promised.
We have been informed, and we have a circular that the federal government has released some palliatives, and to the states is on the way now. I have that letter. I've spoken with the people concerned, so I know fully well that some palliatives are on the way. What we will do is to immediately set up a palliative committee, and we will bring organized labor in there, and we will, with government, so that we can sit together, know what the federal government is bringing and what the state will add, so that we can immediately, in the next 10 days, ensure that we begin to drive down the palliatives and people can get it. That is what we're doing.
Members of the committee, including the state chairman of the NLC, Comrade Sonny James, commended the governor for fast-tracking the actualization of his promise and pledged the support of labor.
Recall that during this August 2nd protest of Nigerian workers in Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency the Governor came in to talk with the workers and did promise that within 10 days he will inaugurate a committee to begin the process of working on the palliative of the people. And he has done justice to that word 6 days after he made that pronouncement. And coming in today, we are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that we walk the talk. And therefore, that committee has just been inaugurated by His Excellency the Governor, Pastor Umo Eno, and given a marching order of 2 weeks to ensure that we put all our papers together and make recommendations to government in line with current realities of the state.
The promise-keeping governor, who recently released 1 billion naira for the payment of gratuities of primary school teachers in the state, as well as the release of 800 million naira to offset backlog of leave grants for workers, has made good his promise to commence remodeling of public primary schools in the state, with the Christ the King Primary School, Wellington Basiwe, Uyo, as a pilot center. 2 weeks after making the promise, work has commenced at the location. While visiting the projects, which is in line with his Arise agenda of educational excellence in the state.
Want to do the prototype of a primary model primary school. We're going to go do the same thing in one other location of a primary health care center. We'll do another one for market, and then we're going to do. It's a total thing. Let's create a conducive environment for these children, because when you talk of dropouts in school, you have to consider the totality of reasons why there's dropout. The school environment should be conducive. You have to provide uniforms, you have to provide shoes, you have to provide books. We'll start slowly. And during my campaign, remember, I said we're going to create business hubs. These uniforms for these pupils will be done by Akwa Ibomites. So we are creating a fashion hub, and then we'll give them the contracts for the uniforms. We'll create a shoe hub. Akwa Ibomites can manufacture shoes. We'll take that business and give to that hub. I know the number of children we have in Akwa Ibom. As we model these schools and we provide those facilities, we are sending businesses to those hubs. It's a full value chain so that one sector depends on the other, and then you can spread and open up the economy. And that's just what we think we can do.
In another development, the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Umo Eno, has pledged sustained partnership with the Oil and Gas Free Zone Authority. This, he said, when a delegation led by the Special Advisor, Industry, Trade and Investment to the President, John Owajumogu, visited him at Government House, Uyo.
This is a classical example that we can all work together to move our country forward. Let our citizens have the benefits of democracy. And thank you for the very warm sentiments you expressed about our state. And each time I hear this, we like to remind us fondly of the work that the last administration under Mr. Udom Emmanuel did, because we're just keying into that work. In the last 8 years of that administration, invested heavily in infrastructural development, industrial development of the state. And our prayer is that God will help us to continue to carry on that work and to ensure that we put everything in place. So that's the trajectory we want to push. And that's why we launched the Arise Agenda, which is a 5-pillar upon which we hope to run administration to extend this development, particularly to our rural areas.
Leader of the delegation and Special Advisor to the President in Industry, Trade and Investment, John Owajumogu, commended Akwa Ibom State for investment in the oil and gas free zone.
Because I am quite amazed, and I commend you for your vision and the effort you've put into in being able to encourage investments in coming to the state. And I think the investments that are already here and the ones that are on the way, because I've had conversations with businesses who are already in the plans of locating their economic activities here in the state, and this goes from agriculture to manufacturing to oil and gas. It just shows the diverse nature of the investments that are coming into the state of Akwa Ibom.
On his part, the CEO, Oil and Gas Free Zone Authorities, Senator Tijani Laura, hailed Governor Umo Eno's vision of making Akwa Ibom State an investment hub in the country.
What we have seen today, we have seen an investment on ground of not less than $500 million as it is today. And they are so ambitious that in the next 6 years, they are investing $6 billion here. And I think this is so great. We need to support this investment here. No less than 1,000 indigenes of Akwa Ibom State are employed in that particular place today. And that is a great feat. And I think we need, on our own part, OXA, we're ready to give support to them in whatever form so that they could continue to grow.
An investment expert, a certified manager of human and material resources, whose wealth of experience spans over 25 solid years in the private sector, Pastor Umo Eno is striking the right chord towards boosting the economy of the state. Recently, he played host to officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, led by the Director of Branch Operations, Mrs. Elizabeth Fosaranti, who visited him at Government House, Uyo. Governor Eno, who identified inflation as the bane of development, explained that the prevailing inflation in the country has affected all parts of life by stifling government as well as individual endeavors.
Beautiful city with a wonderful road network, beautiful landscape, everything beautiful.
Mrs. Fosuranti acknowledged state government's collaboration with the CBN branch over the years and pledged their readiness to partner with government towards achieving greater success.
On behalf of the acting governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the deputy governors of Central Bank of Nigeria, the branch controllers, my colleagues here present, we want to say a very big thank you to you, sir, and your team. We also want to pledge our allegiance to the governor that anytime you need the service of our branch in Uyo, we are ready to offer it. We'll be willing to work with a government that is willing to change the people of Akwa Ibom for good.
Also, on the plank of the Arise agenda is sports development, and Governor Umo Eno has promised to establish a sports academy to complement the efforts of his predecessor, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, at the new Eket Stadium complex. Playing host to a high-powered delegation of sports administrators in Nigeria, led by the President of Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, Alhaji Ibrahim Gusau, at Government House, Uyo, Pastor Eno, who lauded the recent certification of Akwa Ibom state-owned stadium in Uyo by the Confederation of African Football, CAF, as the approved home ground for international matches in Nigeria, said it was a justification of the state's investment in sports development over time.
In all of the country, it's only Akwa Ibom that has been certified by the World Football Body to host this international event. We feel so privileged, and we must at this point pay very, very glowing commendation to the immediate past administration of the Udom Gabriel Emmanuel. Coming to Akwa Ibom to play these matches is divine, because we have no doubt that God's grace and blessing will be upon our team as they play, and we trust that the Lord will help, that we will not lose any match here. We will go from grace to grace and from glory to glory. So we welcome you with open arms, and we look forward to interacting with you.
Leader of the delegation and President, Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, Alhaji Ibrahim Gusau, acknowledged the excellent sports infrastructure in the state, with the latest being the state-of-the-art Eket and Uyo Sports Stadium, and commended the efforts of several administrations in the state for a deliberate investment in sports.
The latest being the Eket and Uyo Township Stadium that were being fully renovated. The Nest of Champion is the only stadium in the country approved by FIFA and CAF to be used for continental and international matches. And this is one of the reasons why we are here. First, to congratulate you on the overwhelming acceptance by your people at the polls. Secondly, to thank you for the impeccable support and partnership that Akwa Ibom State has extended to the NFF and the Super Eagles over the years.
In another development, Governor Umo Eno has moved to put an end to indiscriminate sand mining in the state. He announced the prohibition order during an on-the-spot inspection of the Udoiwang by Raudofia Street erosion-ravaged area of a Wedderford community in Uyo and some other affected spots in the metropolis. He said the prohibition is meant to protect the environment and associated disasters.
The amount of money you are going to put reclaiming these, you know, will do a very, very serious project for me. So, but we can't, because of wanting to do project, Look at houses, look at homes, lives here. So we need to quickly intervene, But these are man-made problems and we can solve it. So I have just advised the Honorable Commissioner for Environment to issue a circular, and nobody will do a borrow pit in this state without approval from the Ministry of Environment, so that we can sit down, discuss it, look at all of the technicalities before we do it. 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line, we don't want to be having this kind of thing. We can't. So it's stopped and it's stopped.
In a related development, the governor also paid an unscheduled visit to the Akwa Ibom State Agricultural Development Program, ACADEP headquarters in Uyo, where he equally frowned at excavation by the fence of the premises due to the danger such activity portends to the environment. He called on the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the Akwa Ibom Fadama and ACADEP to pursue the goals of the Arise Agenda for the attainment of desired agricultural revolution in Akwa Ibom State.
There's a register for farmers. ACADEP will take that register, bring all the farmers together in their local government, and we give them that training. Then each one they've posted to each local government must identify the farmers we want to work with. I don't just want to release money for releasing money's sake. I want to release money and know what that money is going to achieve. That's how I was trained. So until we're able to set that structure, put it in place, the training is done. And then if we say, okay, we want to do cassava, we know how are we going to get improved sticks to give to them. How many people? What is the expected yield? And when you hear of complete food value chain, we now have to take from them and then do the processing. So government is involved, Fadama is involved, ACADEP is involved, the ministry is involved. But the first thing to do is not to release money. The first thing to do is to get the people, and let's see a plan that will follow through. And don't forget, I have a project monitoring and evaluation team that will see that all these things I've said are followed through. And then money now comes, so that when the money comes, it can trickle down.
Akwa Ibom State is already counting her blessings and will soon lose count of naming them one by one, because every day comes with a new initiative and action by the governor, Pastor Umo Eno. A very compassionate leader, Governor Umo Eno has not relented in identifying with families and unfortunate events, especially where the lives of loved ones are involved. It has been a practical display of passion and commitment to the development of Akwa Ibom State. And the people can boldly say that God has answered their prayer for a good leader twice in the preceding and succeeding administrations in the state. The man with the baton of this relay race of good governance, Pastor Umo Eno, has shown early signs of setting a new record. He is already the refrain on the lips of the people as governor of the people, doing the wishes of the people. It is so fulfilling when the leader and the led are on the same page. That is the feeling in Akwa Ibom State. Everyone is standing on the Arise agenda to fast-track a golden future. Governor Umo Eno holds the golden key to the vaults where the bright and beautiful future is kept. His good work inches such future closer day by day.